Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop Preview Show for the 29th of August. It's Thursday, we're at the Vaal, and punters have been short of racing during the course of the week. I trust that you, the valiant racing fan, is well. No racing on Monday, racing at Fairview on Tuesday, no racing on Wednesday, and we kick things off on Thursday. As always, it's Alistair Cohen on the line. Before we have a chat to him, let's have a look at what's on offer. Well, the first race will be off at 12:13, which will be race number 1, the start of the bipot. And if you are interested in playing the Pick 6, it's an odd time. 13:17 will be the start of the Pick 6, which is race number 3. Well, Alistair Cohen, firmly part of the show, as he's been from inception. And he's the man that's got his ear on the ground. And I've been chatting to him during the course of the week with regards to weather, etc. in Cape Town. Yeah, Alistair, it's just one of those times of the year which was highly unexpected. And when it comes to rain and weather, records have been broken down in the Western Cape.
Yeah, and I think now when we get to the end of August and the start of September, one would expect things to start clearing. I mean, right now, I chat to you on Wednesday morning and the sun's trying to peep through and the rain seems like it's over. So hopefully the light rain that's forecast sort of at the start of next week doesn't play havoc. We'll be good to go on Saturday at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Of course, we are at the country course for the next 2 months until early November, when feature races are well and truly into the swing of things at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. But I've seen all sorts of theories on why the weather's been as rough as it has, that volcano Tongaloa has caused ridiculous weather here in the Cape. I mean, I'm not too sure if I really buy that. Maybe I'm a little bit of a Republican in that regard. But all that being said, I think from here we'll be pretty much more into the clear than what we have been, but just hopefully there's no more havoc to be played. With regard to Joburg, I can tell you that this meeting will not be in any doubt, certainly from the weather gods anyway.
Okay, let's get straight into the Alistair. Race number 1 does kick off the bipot. I mentioned there's some odd times, so take note of that. 12:13 will be the start of the bipot, and it's over 1,200 meters at the time of recording. Number 1 is at 7-2. There is a scratching here. Number 3, Emblem of the Sun, is out. That is the latest scratching. Number 4 will race with the blinkers off. Money for a first timer here called Fireburst from the Mike de Kock stable. That's been back from 18-10 to 13-10. Another first timer that's in the betting is Lucky Hood Locks' runner called Shadow of the Moon at 5-2. And then number 8, Lilac Snow, is an 8-1 shot. The obvious question will be, have you heard anything about these first timers? Because we got one that's been back now, and that's the de Kock horse.
The answer to that, unfortunately, on this occasion, Deez, is I don't. I think the first thing that I need to visit for punters is the configuration of the track. Last week at the Vaal, they left the track open, so no false rail on either side. And the jockeys tended to follow towards the outside of the track. We've got exactly the same configuration at this meeting at the Vaal on Thursday. So both false rails were set at 0. So I think that the jockeys are going to tell us exactly which way the track is favouring, as opposed to us having any insights and perhaps eliminating low numbers or high numbers, whichever way it might be. Like, for example, next Tuesday at the Vaal, it looks like high number draws will be preferred. But that's Tuesday's problem. As for this day, as for Thursday, a lot of well-bred first-timers, Deez. I don't think it'll take much for a first-timer to win. I want to start with number 7, Shadow of the Moon. Interesting that there's no early support, because we know that Lucky Houdalarcus is not afraid to have a few guys have a punt on horses that he fancies. This Daughter of Lancaster Bomb is a half-sister to Dice. Craig Zaki takes her out, exactly the same connections that won the Cape Flying Championship at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth at the start of the year. Being by Lancaster Bomber, there might be a push and an expectation that she'll come into her own over a mile, but that's not to say that she can't feature over 1,200 meters first time out, and as we know, Lucky is formidable at the Vaal. 5 Fireburst, Mike de Kock trains, Gavin Larina takes her out with the Daughter of Fire away out of the very well-performed mare, Rat Barana. She was a top racehorse. It's a famous Volker-Bostra family. Like I said, I don't know anything. The only gauge that I've got to work with is the early supporter, number 5, Fireburst. Good sprinting family as well. Rat Barana was at her best down the straight. And then number 9, Faithful Mistress, a daughter of Master of My Fate out of the Mare District 6. This makes her a half sister to Gimme 6, the 4-time winner who was rated 115. She's by far and away the best performed horse out of the mare, but maybe the mare's overdue to produce something that is above average again. What I'm saying is, I think that this race sets up very well for a first-timer. Number 1, Hey Hey Julia, does bring the best form into the race, was well beaten by the very promising Bakwena. I think if Bakwena was let loose, she probably wins by double figures. If the first-timers aren't ready, then number 1, Hey Hey Julia, is probably the right one. But I think of the 3 first-timers mentioned, one of them is going to be ready, one of them is going to win. Right now, at the time of recording, I'd be going towards the money of number 5, Fireburst, but if there is a late push on number 7, Shadow of the Moon, I wouldn't be against changing my mind.
Okay, you got a few options there with regards to the bipod, as Alistair mentioned. 5 and 7 of the first timers. The money anti-post is for number 5 on Hollywoodbets, 18 to 10 into 13 to 10. And if you're looking for some experience, then number 1, Hey Hey Julia, looks to be the obvious horse. So options in race number 1 for that bipod. Race number 2 kicks off the place accumulator. It's over 1,200 meters. It's a maiden plate for 3-year-olds. And this is how they're betting. Number 1 is at 5 to 2. Number 2 is at 8 to 1. And then we got number 6 at 9 to 2. 7, Chariot of Fire, 28 to 10. That's into 2 to 1. Number 10 at 6 to 1. And then it's double figures, the balance. Alistair, before we even touch on the field, something just sprung to mind now. Just a thought that, whilst we are excited and we look forward to the appearance of all those young horses, the 2-year-olds, and then the Equus Awards, and have a look at our champions for all those graded races and how they perform, it's... I'd say more often than not, it's not necessarily the star 2-year-old that becomes the star 3-year-old. So this is also very exciting to see these 3-year-olds come out, especially the ones that are unexposed and debuting, and see how they progress throughout the season against the tried and tested juveniles of last season.
It's a great conversation, Deez. I always love it when this gets brought up. That is the general rule of thumb, that the champion 2-year-olds, are almost swamped by the unknowns that we've never seen, never heard of, that would have been waiting behind. And there could be any combination of reasons. Could be horses that might now be exposed by the handicapper. You're also racing against such a small cross-section of horses when you're a 2-year-old as well. So it's probably easier to stand out. But what I will say is, certainly from a Joburg perspective, maybe not so much from a Cape or KZN, because I think now with Hollywoodbets Scottsville sort of coming towards the end of its tether before the spring treatment, I think a lot of the KZN promising 3-year-olds will be starting to step out. And I think in Cape Town as well, just before sort of the rain ends and spring starts to bite and horses start getting ready for Hollywoodbets, Cape Guineas, etc. But certainly in Joburg, I think the big guys will just not have their foot on the gas just yet. And I think when the grass turns in a couple of weeks' time, certainly at Turffontein, you might start to see some of those highly thought of unraced or totally unexposed 3-year-olds starting to step out. So not yet, but it is exciting because you know that it's just about showtime all over the country. Going into the first leg of the place accumulator, Deez, I think there's a lot of value here about a couple of runners. I want to start with number 1, One and All, who is the favourite, and I do give him a winning chance, but I don't make him a good thing. Philisande Nkoili takes the ride for Stuart Pettigrew, beaten by King of Numbers last time. I don't think that form's going to work out to be the greatest form of all time. It was a much improved run after a gelding. I'd anticipate that he can well confirm that and be somewhere in the mix, and like I said, he's got a winning chance. I certainly wouldn't write that off. But I think down the page, numbers 11 and 12 represent a lot of value here, Deez. I want to start with number 12, Take Your Best Shot, which showed good improvement from first to second start. It's not the stinger way to ready them up first time out, and they probably also need a little bit more experience after their second start. Take Your Best Shot finished in front of a Stuart Pettigrew trained horse, 12 O'Clock High. So Pettigrew's got a line here between 12 O'Clock High and One and All. And obviously 12 O'Clock High, who was 2 lengths behind Take Your Best Shot, came out and franked that form. Then we've also got, on a line through Wolf Mountain, Solar Sail finished in front of Take Your Best Shot. There was only, a length and a half between them, and also Solar Sail comes off a mini break. Take Your Best Shot would have been very wet behind the ears. So I'm going to recommend that 12 will finish in front of 11, but I think they both represent a lot of value here. 12 at around 12 to 1, and 11 at 33 to 1. From a top 4 perspective, I wouldn't let that run loose in my trifectas and quartets. So I think from the PA 1 and 12 will suffice, but I think number 11 Solar Sail is going to run a lot better than what the market suggests, and I think that's, like I said, bang there for a top 4 chance.
Well, there is some big prices that have been found here in race number 2 from Alistair Cohen. And numbers 1 and 12 are his recommendation for the place accumulator. But horse number 11 is a bomb price. I don't think that's going to last after this show, especially guys that enjoy take the places on number 11 Solar Sail at 33-1. So that's going to be it for race number 2. Keep an eye on the first timers. As I mentioned, the one that has been backed anti-post is number 7 Chariot of Fire, 28-10. Into 2-1. Then on to the big one, the pick 6. And I mentioned some odd times. This is at 13:17. It's race number 3 over 1,600 meters. It's a maiden handicap, so take note of that. Number 1 at 4-1. Number 2 at 2-1. We got a 9-10 shot here in Captain Jim, and it's Fabian Habib teaming up with Gavin Larena. And the one thing that's clearly noticeable is just have a look at the strike rate Gavin shares with Fabian Habib. Last 36 rides, 13 winners. Wow. And never mind the places. I mean, that amounts to 11 places as well. But 13 places from 36 rides, that is a very high strike rate for a stable that he doesn't ride often for. But when he jumps on, take note. Then the balance are all in double figures, Alistair. I got some equipment changes here. Number 6, I see the blinkers off. And number 7, cheek pieces off as well. So 9-10 about number 3, Captain Jim. Yeah, it's just amazing how certain jockeys gel with certain stables, Alistair.
Yeah, spot on. And Fabian Habib has hit the ground running this season. Winner after winner, a few exactas. It just follows one after the other, and he's got a string in good form at the start of the season. It's always a bit of a dicey one in Joburg as well. You get guys like Sean Terry, who's dead generally August and September, and starts to get stuck into them when the feature races start at the start of October. And then you get other trainers who I think are grossly underrated who take advantage of that. One of them being Fabian Habib, and now that he's starting to fill up his yard, that's no surprise. With big supporters that he's got, obviously through family, through Dunninch and Sammy Martin Butmer, and a few others that have been supporting Fabian, and they're the results to show for it. I think the key when you introduce this race to ease is that it's a maiden handicap. Ordinarily, when I'd look at a race like this and I'd see Captain Jim, also that ilk at 9-10, I'd sidestep it, but there's not much in here, to be honest, Dees. I think number 3, Captain Jim's found the right field. Having run well in its last 3 races, 2 of them being work riders races, that is a little bit of an alarm bell. So I don't know if I'd be prepared to bank a number 3, Captain Jim, but there's no way I can say I'm going to look to oppose him. I think number 2, Red Legend, is a bit of a chance. Craig Zaki rides for Lucky Hudalakis. There's half a kilo in it. I suppose he's untapped like number 3, Captain Jim, to an extent. And another horse at a bit of a price that I think is worth throwing in is number 8, How's It But. I don't know how he's going to go over the extended distance over a mile down the straight after showing pace last time and falling in a hole. But the blinkers come off. Muziani's on. Tongue tie's on. I'm willing, off 53 kilos and in a race as shallow as this, to give him a bit of a vote of confidence to earning a stake check and getting somewhere into the race. But I think numbers 2 and 3, to be fair, will suffice in the pick 6.
2 and 3 for the pick 6, and I think that should be good enough. If you're looking for a result, well, maybe Alistair's found a big one here. How's It Put? That will be a hello result in leg 1 if that has to arrive. Horse number 8, How's It Put? But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the result that's against the grain in the bet, like a pick 6. And if it arrives, that is when you start dropping tickets. So maybe that could be a nice outsider. If not the pick 6, trifectas and quartets could be a nice find there. 53 kgs. Race number 4 will be Jackpot 1. It's over 2,000 meters. It's a middle stakes. And let's go to the betting as we bring up the field. Number 1 is at 6-1. Number 3 at 5-1. Horse number 4, Milieu, form update, finished 9th, 7.5 lengths behind King's Express, priced up at 33-10. Number 6, Truant Sky, is at 28-10, solid form there. And then 8, Thani Player, is at 7-2. It took a bit of time for that next career win, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts, when running third last time out behind Diesel Shadow. A horse that I know that the owner, Manu Pandaram, did rate when he started off his career, so nice to see the horse put those, a couple of runs behind him, but those were in feature races, and back to his best now, number 8, Tani Player. There is some form to work around here, Alistair, but I think if you have to look for one horse that possibly sets the standard, it could be the Van Vieren horse, number 6.
That's all one Sugar Blast, D's. My suggested bet is Jackpot 1. The reason why I've gone with Jackpot 1 is because I'm not overly mad about the 8th and last race. Otherwise, I probably would have gone with the pick 6 on this card. I've gone 3 horses here, 1, 3, and 6. I want to start with number 3, Imperial Master, because that was sort of my last attempt, my last sort of inclusion into the pick 6. On pure maths, he's got 10.5 lengths to find with Sugar Blast, and Sugar Blast should have his measure at the weights. But Imperial Master, I'd reckon probably just needed that second run back as well. And from that win of Sugar Blast that happened 112 days ago, Razor Hallelujah's won. Willow's Wish has won, Homer the Brave has won, Imperial Master has won, Supreme Dance, who was also in that race, also came out and did something, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So that's one of the stronger form lines. It's exactly the same race as well, 2,000 meter middle stakes at the Vaal. So purely on the maths, number 1, Sugar Blast should win this race. It's just a matter of whether he'll need the run after 112 days off the track. That's why he's not banking. But I put in number 3, Imperial Master, because he was unlucky last time out, and I'm willing to say that he's nowhere near 10.5 lengths worse than Sugar Blast. He might not be better than Sugar Blast. He probably isn't better than Sugar Blast, but I do think that he'll definitely finish a lot closer. And then number 6, Drew Sky, the horse that you mentioned. This horse has totally turned the corner since going the trip. Johan Janssen van Vuren's in good form. Samanga Kamala banged home 4 winners at Turffontein over the weekend, some of them for Johan as well. Strunska had been quoted to run a few times along the way, obviously looking for the right race to get him into. He's clearly a horse that's on the up. He's probably completely unexposed as well, considering it took him a while to hit his straps. Ended up winning a maiden, was rated 86 at the stayers level. I think that he's got a lot more to come. So number 6, Strunska, is also an inclusion. I'm making a race in 3 between those horses, numbers 1, 3, and 6, and I'm happy to move along on the jackpot, and certainly that leg of the pick 6 as well.
Okay, 1, 3, 6 for Alistair Cohen, race number 4, and then we on to race number 5, 1,500 meters, a merit-rated 66 handicap, and this is how they're betting. There's one horse that's been backed, and it's the first horse that comes up in the betting, and it's number 3, Y Shong Mawing's runner. From 3-1 into 5-2, horse number 3 attracting betting support. Number 5, Risky Business at 28-10. And then we got number 8, Zubomba at 4-1. And that is it, Alistair. The balance, you can pretty much name your price. It's double figures, so it's quite light at the top of the betting boards with just 3 runners and then wide. So, this race tells a story, doesn't it, when you look at guys that will, use the betting as a guide to structure their bets. It's just 3 runners at the top, and then you're looking for a result. That's what the race says. If you beat one of these 3 runners, you're certainly going to drop tickets in the exotics.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a result here, Deez. I think the bookmakers have pretty much got that right. The one horse that's not in the market that I have in is number 2, Caliburn, at around 12-1. Just ignore that last run over 1.5 miles. I suppose it was worth the opportunity, worth the chance to go 2,400 meters, but he was never going to stay. So I think coming back to a more happy place, I'll include him. But he was my 4th and final inclusion in my jackpot. Number 3, Kalida. Good chance, drawn towards the inside. Who knows if that's going to be good or bad? But thankfully, by the time you play your pick 6s and your jackpots, you'll know if the inside is favoured or not. Waishal Mowing trains. This all seems to have turned the corner on the back of a rating drop. He's come down another pound for beating a length by Risky Business. I think had he been a length closer last time, he probably just about wins the race, the Son of Horizon. So number 3, Kalida, an obvious inclusion. 5, Risky Business in the form of Her Life. Muzi, and he gets the best out of the Storcho Quarari. St. John Gray's having a wonderful run of form at the moment when the grass is brown in his different division. Can she overcome the penalty for 2 wins? Being given £7, that's a lot for an average filly. I think St. John will agree that she's an average filly, but at the moment she's running so well, so it's hard to knock and hard to motivate leaving her out. And then number 8, Zoom Bomber, although wins don't come easy, been nearly a year and a half since he last won, and he's tried all surfaces. I think that he's not too far away from winning. Not necessarily a horse to trust, not a horse that we can follow down the well, but his recent consistency and the fact that he's hinting a win is just around the corner. Can't leave a horse like that out. It's as simple as that. If you're looking beyond those four, then you're going to be going around in circles.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree 100% with Alistair, because I had a look at it. Absolutely tough once you look past 3 runners, but Alistair's found one more, and he's included horse number 2. Race 6, 1,500 meters, merit weighted 80 handicap, and this is the way they're betting. Number 1, Nordic Rebel, 8-1. 2, Rock of Bismantova at 8-1. Number 3, Run for Cover at 8-1. Then we got number 6 at 4-1. And one more runner that's in single figures. Yep, that's number 11, Boom Boom, at 8-1. No, we got one more runner here, Shinto Shrine. How can I forget that? That's trading at 33-10. Finally put it all together last time out, and the 3-year-old will race against all the horses over this 1,500-meter trip. Wow, Alistair, the previous race, you were a big help there, because I thought that was an absolute minefield, but you gave us some confidence with 4 runners. I don't know how you're going to help in this race.
I'm not. I've gone field in the jackpot, and let me tell you why. I think that there are a lot of horses here that have completely lost their form, that are running over their best course down the straight of the Vaal. Even a horse like number 4, Stormy Winter, different animal down the Vaal straight. I know that he's totally lost his way. Not for one moment saying he's my top choice. He's not. But the point I'm making is it wouldn't surprise me if at 33-1 he found a little bit of life just over the Vaal straight again. The fact that David Nevenhuizen's persisted with him, maybe he believes that there is another win left in the tank. I'll tell you why I'm not overly mad about the race when they're betting 33-10 about the favourite, number 13, Shinto Shrine. Shinto Shrine didn't beat a strong maiden by any stretch of the imagination. He faces Deception Pass and gets a lot of weight from Deception Pass. Obviously, he got 4 kilos when they met in the maidens, and he gets 4 kilos yet again. But Deception Pass had to go down to Durban, the Hollywoodbets Greyville Poly. He won with contemptuous ease, but after running to Shinto Shrine, he got rolled over as well by Kamensky. So I think overall, when you just draw comparisons of the level of form, there's not a whole lot to get excited about there. But what I will say for Shinto Shrine is at least he's improving, and he could be completely unexposed. Of the field, there's endless list of winning chances. I want to give Erico Verdeniz a shout-out. His yard's in good form. Gavin Larina's been riding the crest of a wave, especially for guys like Erico. They are best mates. 11 years old, the son of Rebel King. Not lost any of his zest for racing. It'll be wonderful if he got another win under the belt. He's drawn towards the outside, so the same comment applies for what I said earlier. At least by the time you take your pick sixes and jackpots, you'll know if the outside's the right place to be. If it's not, then a horse like number 8, Laughing William, comes into the play as well, drawn and won. But if the inside's the wrong place to be, then you could be stuck in treacle. So very, very tricky race, lots of chances, hard to put a line through any of them. If you throw any name at me, I wouldn't be able to put you off.
Very tough race, as Alistair Cohen mentioned, but he's given you some of his thoughts on runners that you could possibly try and narrow it down in a bet like a bar pot and a place accumulator. But he's suggesting it's a field race here in race number 6. Race number 7, 1,100 meters, merit rated 80 handicap. Okay, we've gone wide now in a few of the legs. Let's try and reduce the cost of that perm. We bring up the field, and horse number 3, Secret Chord, is at 7-2. Number 4, Vegas High Rise at 9-2. Number 3 at 5-1. Then we got horse number 10 at 7-1. And number 11, Warm Winter Night, Fabian Habib's runner, is at 28-10. So I looked at the race, Alistair, and I was leaning towards horse number 11 as my outright choice, a possible banker in a bet like a place accumulator. What are you going to do here in race number 7?
I think Fabian Habib's going to win the race. I just don't know with which one. I'd also lean towards number 11, Warm Winter Night. He's got half a length to turn around with Vegas High Rise. They obviously meet again, and they meet on half a kilo better terms for Warm Winter Night, so maybe that will just tilt the scales. But nothing else really jumps off the page for me. I suppose number 3, Secret Court, for the form that he's in, is a horse to respect. But the fact that he was just flat last time out, back 9 days later. Maybe the handicap has got the better of him. He's been penalised for being a loser, so I'm not a fan of that. I'm happy with the two Fabian horses, and going to put both in my play and anticipate that they'll part this out. Don't read anything into the jockey arrangements. Kiratile Kajedi obviously rode Vegas High Rise last time out. No reason to take him off, so I don't think there's any preference there with Gavin Lorena riding number 11, Warm Winter Night. I think that was the day that Samango Kamalo was stood down that Kachedi ended up picking the rider number 4, Vegas High Rise. So talk about being in the right place at the right time. But yeah, I'm battling to find anything other than those two from the Fabian Habib yard that can win this race. If there is an alternative, it would be number 3, Secret Chord. But for reasons I've just declared, I'm not overly mad about his chances here. And yeah, I'm happy just to double the perm in this race.
Okay, I'm in agreement with you, with Fabian Habib there, numbers 4 and 11. And we will stick with those numbers for race number 7. Race number 8 is where we close things off. It's over 1,100 meters. It's a merit-rated 63 handicap, a low E division class. And this is the way they are betting. Number 2 at 6-1. Horse number 3 at 8-1. Number 4, Dancing Dora. Now here I find something very interesting. That's at 7-2. And then we got double figures the balance. I say that's very interesting. I don't know what happened there with the riding arrangements, because I would have thought that maybe Lorena would have stuck with this horse, number 4, Dancing Dora. But for whatever reason, he is on number 8, Samoa, a horse that he's got a very good record on, and we've given her airtime on the show on numerous occasions, number 8, Samoa. But Gavin, on that horse, would you read anything into that?
Yes, only because it's Gavin on Samoa. That's the only thing. Let me tell you what I think happened here. I think that Britain Stardale's team would have phoned Gavin Lorena long before nominations and said, we're nominating, there's an 1,100 meter race at the Vaal, please can you ride? And, because of Gavin's record on Samoa and the fact that he had obviously loved to get her into the winner's box for the 8th time in her career, in her 95th start, having just turned 10, I think that would have probably pulled on Gavin's heartstrings. I actually put her in the race number 8, Samoa. This is such a tricky race, Dees. There's nothing to get overly excited about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw 2 horses at you and say perhaps double float them in the quartet with the field, because you are bound to get something at 20-1 or even better running into the top 4. I'm going to motivate 5 Jet Cat and 8 Samoa as my 2 horses. Make them your swinger play, make them your double floaters on the quartets, and I'll tell you why. Jet Cat last time ran second to Written in Stone, looked to win her. Written in Stone ran past him. He finds himself 2.5 kilos better off for 2.25 lengths. I have my doubts whether Written in Stone can repeat that, so I think number 5 Jet Cat will turn that form around. And then number 8 Samoa at the Vaal. I mean, this is, to be honest, a bit of a nothing distance, 1,100 meters. And Samoa being Samoa, this might be exactly in the middle of what she's looking for, 1,100 meters. And with Gavin on board, I'll always put her in. I mean, Gavin's overall record on her suggests that she'll just be somewhere in the top 4 anyway. So that's what I'm going to do in the last race. If you're playing a pick 6, don't come to me for help, because I'm not going to be much help. Like I said earlier, the reason why I haven't structured a pick 6 on this card is just because I'm not in a financial position to multiply that's firm by 16.
Okay, this is what I've done. Quietly, I've been doing an in-running pick 6 here, Alistair, and I've done one. So this is a guide, as Alistair Cohen mentioned. It is tough, but I didn't mention it to him. Normally we'll chat in running. I said, now let's just go with the flow. We'll jot down some numbers and see where we go. This is the pick 6, in-running pick 6 that was, of course, unplanned this time with Alistair Cohen during the course of the show. 2 and 3 by 136. By 2358, by the field multiplied by 13, by 4 and 11, and the last leg we're just going to go 4, 5, and 8, and we've managed to reduce the cost of that perm to less than 2,000. 187 Rand 20 will get you 10%. 187.2 will get you 10% of that perm. Yeah, Alistair, just something to go on this Thursday. Let's go to your suggested bet.
It builds a bit of an interest, and as you say, with hardly any racing this week, with a dead Monday and nothing on Wednesday, we saw the pools at Fairview on Tuesday. We're certainly above average for a card that had slim runners and on the poly, and Fairview obviously midweek or not a non-Friday at Fairview can be a little bit flat. So punters want to have a go. It's month end, so nothing wrong with that pick six. But I can tell you now, if we do get to that last leg, I'll be looking for ways to try and sort of almost lay off and try and find other horses that might be able to make a difference to our lives. But anyway, Jackpot 1 is my suggested bet. Gets underway at 11 minutes to 2. 1, 3, and 6, Sugar Blast, Imperial Master, and Strewn Sky. By numbers 2 Caliburn, 3 Kalida, 5 Risky Business, and 8 Zoom Bomber. By Field in race 6, which is leg 3. By Fabian Habib's 2 horses, 4 Vegas High Rise, and 11 Warman Tonight.
Unbelievably, I got the same numbers jotted down exactly in the jackpot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've just added leg 1 and leg number 6 for the pick 6. Thanks for your time, Alistair, as always.
Shot D's, always a pleasure. We'll chat safe.
Thanks to Alistair Cohen, thanks to the Gallop TV team, and to you, the valued racing fan. Well, it is something to play for. On Thursday, you got a jackpot, which is Jackpot 1 from Alistair Cohen, an in-running, unplanned pick 6. You can use that as a guide and possibly add your numbers where you feel that you need a few more, or subtract where you think the guys have gone wide. So that is Thursday the 29th of August. Have a blast, find all the winners, and until we meet again, you take care. Salanigasle. Lekker, so I got all the info there. Thanks about...